Okay, I think we're ready to begin. Welcome to the February edition of the Environmental Commission meeting. I guess we'll
I
start.
like the spacing. We're gonna get that right.
Okay, we have another commissioner joining us now. And we can take the roll call when he is officially here. Hi.
Okay. Commission Chair Kramer,
Present?
Commission Vice Chair O'Connor,
Here.
Commissioner Parker,
Here.
Commissioner Spitzler,
Here.
Commissioner Wick.
Here.
Let the record show that we have a quorum with 5 commissioners present and Commissioners Bruner and Fletcher absent.
Okay, would anybody like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I'll do it today.
Thanks. Any changes to the agenda?
No changes to the agenda.
Okay, do we have any oral communications?
Yes, we have one speaker, Madison Rapp, a public comment on a non-agenda item.
Great, welcome.
Can you turn
And-
your microphone on, please?
Yeah. Hello, can you hear me? All right, cool. Good evening. I'm here tonight to raise awareness about a pressing issue that impacts both the health of our children and the environment, the dangers of tobacco and marijuana smoke exposure. The American Academy of Pediatrics recently stated that there is no safe amount of firsthand, secondhand, or thirdhand smoke. They strongly recommend preventing exposure to all forms of tobacco or marijuana smoke, especially for children, due to the serious health risks involved. I have 3 children and live in multi-unit housing, so that's why I'm bringing this up. Secondhand and thirdhand smoke can cause breathing problems, lung damage, learning disabilities, increase the risk of asthma, respiratory infections, ear infections, and can hinder lung growth. Thirdhand smoke, which is the harmful chemical residue left behind after smoking, further exacerbates this issue. These toxic particles stick to surfaces like walls, furniture, clothing, and even pet fur. They cannot be easily removed by airing out rooms or using fans, and they pose a lingering risk to children, especially infants who crawl and put non-food items in their mouths. But beyond the immediate health risks, we must also address the environmental toll tobacco products take on our community. Tobacco product waste, including cigarette butts, e-cigarettes, cigar tips, and plastic packaging, is one of the largest sources of litter worldwide. These items don't just disappear. They contribute to pollution in our ecosystems and waterways, harming wildlife and contaminating water supplies. Toxic chemicals from cigarette butts, for example, leach into the soil and water, posing long-term threats to both the environment and human health. Given these health and environmental concerns, I urge the City Council to consider adopting a smoke-free and vape-free multi-unit housing policy. I brought this issue to the City Council last night, but I thought the Environmental Commission would like to know as well. This would not only protect the health of our children, but also help mitigate the environmental damage caused by tobacco waste. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you, appreciate that. Okay, thanks. Okay, looks like we have no presentations, and so we can move on to approving the minutes of last month's meeting. Would anyone like to make a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve last month's minutes.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay, great. No informational items. And so we can move on to action items, which is a update of our 2025-2026 work plan. Thanks, Crystal.
All righty. So I've got the work plan up here. Let me just make it a little bigger for you guys. Okay, so as usual, I will go through all of the items that had updates for this month, but skip the ones that didn't have any action this month. So for project number 1, outreach and representation at community events, I wanted to share that EcoFest, the date for EcoFest has been announced. It's going to be on June 1st, 2025, this year, and it will be held at the Encinitas Community Park. The MOU with the city is scheduled to be officially approved at council's next meeting. So that is happening. And then,
So-
oh, sure. Go ahead.
Are
Carol.
you done with one?
Yes.
Oh, I wanted to say that I just talked to Nicole, I forgot her last name, at Parks and Rec, and she told me that Arbor Day is April 5th.
Oh, great.
Saturday, April 5th, at the Cardiff Sports Park.
Cardiff.
And they're going to be planting 50 trees. And so it starts from 9 to noon.
Is that the same as Encinitas Community Park or Cardiff?
No, Cardiff Sports Park on Lake.
Oh, yes, okay. I know that.
Great. Thanks, Carol. We can add that to the update for this month. Anything else for project 1? Okay, so I'll move to project 2, which is the environmental awards program. So the nomination period closes on Friday the 14th. That's tomorrow. And did the subcommittee want to provide any updates here?
I believe, Maria, we have somebody in each of the 4 categories that's been nominated.
We do.
So there, as past years, we've had to extend it to fill a category. I think we're going to be able to just move forward at this point with the ones that have been nominated. I think Maria's reaching out to the judges here. Yes, yes. But all 4 are filled is the problem. It was the problem in the past. So they're already filled. They'll just be more filled. Yeah. So, and I think Maria's getting ready to get to last year's winners are this year's judges. We did have somebody who inquired if they could nominate a person who won in 2022, and that brought up the issue that the subcommittee had never addressed before, is how often a person can win the award. And the subcommittees met and talked about it. And with Maria and Crystal, we're going to pick a 5-year period. So if you win it, you have to wait 5 years until you can, or the business can win it again, which makes sense. I'm sure this person will win it again. She won the youth award years ago, and she, I guess, still doing great things. So, and I think that's the only update I've got for the awards. Anything else I should mention? Okay.
Okay, I'll move on to project number 3, which is the native plant policy. So the update here is that the consultant that was selected, SWCA, and city staff held a focused stakeholder meeting with the Native Plants for Encinitas group and other relevant partners in January. That was on January 21st. And at this meeting, they reviewed and discussed the pros and cons of existing resource lists of Southern California native species. And we're just kind of considering which native plant list to be considered for part of the ordinance. And staff is now currently preparing a draft outline of the ordinance and will present the draft to get public input at the first public workshop, which is still yet to be scheduled. And then if you want to follow the project, the public is invited to visit the Native Plant Ordinance webpage or sign up for e-notifications through the city's updates webpage.
I could add a little something to that. I was at that meeting, and it was just really impressive, the wealth of knowledge that this Native Plants for Encinitas group has. We have all these native experts in, native plants by being botanists, restoration ecologists, and they just really know all the technical aspects of this. No, it was just a very, very technically knowledgeable group, and it's really cool to have these people in our community that are able to kind of like inform the policies in that way. So I was really impressed. And then kind of related to the native plant policy, I think I've been speaking the last couple of months about one aspect of it is thinking about ways to better align the fire abatement policy of the city with the native plant policy intent to protect native plants and native habitat. And so I met with Crystal and Deputy Fire Marshal Jordan Villagomez, and we kind of brainstormed maybe some ways to make the weed abatement notices that property owners get when they're in violation of, fire hazards, to make that notice a little bit more clear. And reached out to a couple city council members and kind of waiting to hear back. Keep you notified if anything happens there.
Yeah, and I can add to that I checked in with Fire Marshal Villagomez, and he said he's consulting with the fire chief to make sure he's provides an appropriate response. So may take a little longer than typical, but he is working on reviewing your suggested language and to see if we can incorporate it or something similar.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Good to have that update. Thanks, Crystal.
So I didn't know about this meeting, I was just hoping that I could hear about it next time.
The meeting with
Native
Katie?
plants? The
Oh,
the native plant.
Oh, sure. So, yeah.
Because for some reason, they don't tell me.
Well, if you want to sign up for updates.
I tried to sign up with a native plant group before, and I put my email down, and they don't.
Huh. Have you gone to the city's e-notifications page to sign up there? That would be the best way, because then you're automatically
What do you do?
get added. Yeah, so I can show you where to get to it on the city's webpage
Okay.
after the meeting. But that's a way that you're basically adding yourself electronically to the
Okay.
list, and that's the list that staff maintains when they send out notices on when the meetings are.
Thanks.
Okay, so the next project with updates is the mobility element update. And I wanted to share that the final mobility element is tentatively scheduled to be heard by City Council on April 9th. It was scheduled to be heard earlier, but there's been some other pressing items, and so it's been put on a later date. But it is ready for approval by council.
And is that available online to view, or will they have it?
It
after
may
they
be,
present it?
there definitely is a mobility element update webpage, so I
Okay.
would check there. If it is online, it's there. If it's not there, then let me know and I can get you a copy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, project number 5, which is the 5-year climate action plan update. So in the last month, the first draft of the updated CAP was completed. That was on January 17th, and then that has since been reviewed by staff, and now the consultants are in the process of incorporating the revisions that staff requested. And then we're expecting that the draft document will be available for the public for review sometime in March. And also in March, we're hoping to bring the document to Environmental Commission for consideration as well. Any questions on that one? Okay. There's also going to be a public meeting sometime around then as well. So I don't know the exact date yet. We still have to make sure that we've got the fully completed and ready document to share with the public, because we want that workshop to be an opportunity for the public to be able to provide comments and respond and react to the full and complete draft document. The next project is the Green Building Incentive Program. This one, staff is ready with revisions and just needs to reconvene the subcommittee to review the new revisions. We've been a bit tied up with some other projects, the Climate Action Plan update most specifically, that's taking up a lot of time. But it's close to being ready for review by the subcommittee, and then once the subcommittee concurs with the revisions, then we could have the Environmental Commission weigh in on those revisions, and then subsequently take it to council to to have them hear the item and make a decision on how to update the program.
Okay, and we can set something up.
Yeah, if you guys want to reach out to me, and we can schedule a meeting to do
Perfect.
that. Yeah. And then the next project that has updates is the food service plastic ordinance. And here, the subcommittee put out an online survey for food service providers to complete, to provide input on some of the ideas for the ordinance. And the survey aims to assess the benefits and challenges of businesses face when converting to compostable or reusable products. Does the subcommittee want to share anything about that?
Sure. Thank you for that list. Haven't utilized it
business
yet,
list,
but
yeah.
will shortly. Thanks.
Yeah.
So this survey was completed and we sent it out to the Chamber of Commerce, the Encinitas Chamber of Commerce, and then the 101s, like the Encinitas, Leucadia, and Cardiff 101s directors, and they sent it out to their businesses. We are still kind of getting some responses. It's really cool just to see the comments too, and it's a Google survey, so the output will be really nice and kind of have like plots and charts, and it's like a really nice way to just visualize the data. So we'll present that to the Environmental Commission as soon as we get kind of what we feel like is a critical mass of responses. And I have been attending some kind of regional groups, like coalition groups. There's two. There's one that's like a reuse group for the West Coast. It's mostly municipalities that have passed laws encouraging reusable foodware items. And then there's another group that's focused on compostable and recyclable foodware items. And it's just really cool to see all the cities that have already done this and how they've banded together, and they're just kind of like learning best practices and thinking about ways to incorporate a lot of the new state ordinances that are trying to limit single-use plastics. And I think we have the advantage of trying to come online while some of these state laws are being rolled out, so we can kind of tie our laws to those, which some of these municipalities that were on the forefront of this are kind of trying to catch up and adapt their ordinances to the state laws, so we can do it in tandem. So that's been a cool learning experience.
So then the list you mentioned was a city list of all the restaurants, correct? So we got one more outreach attempt and waiting for data to come back, right?
Will be, yeah, that's right, thanks. That'll be our final outreach attempt to get some more responses. Yep.
Nice work, guys. A lot of work. It's
Yeah,
not a small amount of work. That's cool.
Yeah, good feedback, though, we're getting. It's informative.
Okay, great. So that's all the updates for this month, and then I'll jump over to the calendar. See where we're at for the year. So we're in January, February. So the term expirations, that's not applicable for this year. So what we're looking at coming up is not until March, and that's when that is when we would appoint the new chair. You would appoint the new chair and vice chair for their one-year term. And then the subcommittee for the awards would be considering the nominees, and then in April, be announcing the environmental award recipients at a council meeting. The other things happening in April are you would establish a subcommittee to work on the work plan. That actually won't happen this year because it's a 2-year work plan, so that'll happen next year. And then Arbor Day is April 5th, so we can add that. We'll update the calendar to show that, to reflect that, and I'll stop there because no need to go through the whole year. And that wraps up my update, and if there's any other comments or discussion, feel free to add anything additional.
Oh, I was just going to mention, we got some momentum with the Street Stewards program. So their website did go live. So Encinitas is a community you can select. We're working out a little bit of the kinks. There's a couple bugs. Rob's playing with the website. I actually had a couple other friends. So yeah, we're getting really close to getting to market this and, send it to the chamber, send it to the 101 foundations, or what are they called? 101
Main Street Association?
Main Street Association. Thank you. So, yeah, I think it's pretty cool. Mark, I don't know if you wanted to add anything, but we're getting close to being real live with this. Bless you.
Yeah, I didn't have anything yet to add to that, yeah.
Okay, great.
Okay, any other comments or changes to address? Okay, then we can vote to approve the work plan. I could put forth a motion to approve it.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay. And then it looks like we don't have any commissioner-initiated action agenda items. And then here we have another opportunity for updates on items of interest.
I
Is
just
that where I
have,
was supposed to
This time, that's okay.
jump the gun?
I still didn't have a whole lot to add about street stewards. Robert just hosted the last one near his neighborhood in Leucadia, and 37 pounds of debris picked up by, it was because didn't have the website up, we're not looking real hard for a lot of volunteers. There was about 7 of us that did that. Many were returnees from the first one that was done at the Panikin. So it's going to grow, definitely going to grow. We're fired up, going to do some social media outreach and a bunch of different things to get the word out on how to sign up now that it is pretty much live with bugs. And then I have one more thing, Moonlight Beach cleanup this Saturday between 9 and 11. Everyone's welcome to come and do a street steward on the beach with Surfrider.
I just have a quick one, too. We all got a flyer for the home electrification fair. I plan to attend that, and if you guys can't make it, I will give feedback and information on what comes up there.
Yeah, and if I pass these out, if you know about these, pass the information on to somebody else. I think that we've heard about ways you can electrify your house, but to be able to talk to people that have done it, to be able to talk to vendors, and hopefully contractors, so that that you can actually get it done. And in addition to the fair that's from 10 to 1:30, there's going to be a couple of homes that you can tour starting at 2 that are over kind of by the hospital, so that have already done electrification. So,
Cool.
so I hope to see you there.
Thanks for passing those out.
See you there.
See you there. Okay, any future commissioner-initiated?
I have an update, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Just wanted to wait till the end. I just wanted to share that the City Council's strategic planning sessions are coming up. They're going to be February 24th and 25th at the Community Center. And there's going to be starting at 8 in the morning. I'm not sure how long they will go, but it's a really good opportunity to share with the council what the community's interests are and what you want the city's priorities to be for the next year. So I highly recommend, especially, you're all serving on a commission and serving for the city was something that's very important to you. So sharing your interests and your values and concerns that you have in the city that you want the city to address this is the perfect opportunity to do that. And if you can attend the meeting in person, that's one way. But you should be able to also submit your comments in advance of the meeting, just like you would for a city council meeting as well. So you can email your comments in, and those will be considered as well. So just wanted to.
Where is it again?
I believe it's going to be at the community center
What time?
at 8 in the morning. There will be a regular notification announcement that comes out just like the city council meetings, the 3 days in advance, 72 hours in advance notification. So you should see it in your inboxes.
And that was this weekend? Or,
No, it's February 24th and 25th, a
Oh,
Monday and a
thank you.
Tuesday.
Thank you for bringing that up,
Yeah.
Crystal. I totally forgot to mention that. I had a question about if we present there, would we be presenting as just citizens and commissioners, or is there a line there?
It's more of as a citizen, but you can certainly mention that you're a commissioner, for sure. I would do that. Recognize your your service to the city in that way. But it's not, a formal commission recommendation that you're making at the time. So, yeah.
Is it the same like 3-minute sort of time cap that you get, or?
Most likely, yeah. I don't know the exact format, but very likely that'll be how it's run. There'll be a public comment section of the agenda, and then they'll do their deliberation and discussion. Yeah.
Thank you. Anything else?
I had one more thing, and you're going to have to help me here.
Sure.
Because I'm trying to recall the conversation we had with Mayor Ellers for a little bit. So I think what he had described, that there's no environmental element to the plan. Is that the right terminology?
I think that was the
trying to
language
recall.
he was using.
Yeah.
We don't have an actual,
I actually just had a similar conversation with him.
okay,
And
so maybe.
So I was trying to
He
recall.
was,
maybe,
he was noticing that there's no environmental element to the general plan.
Oh, I was close.
And that,
Okay.
yeah, you're very close. The general plan. So the general plan is like the main guiding document for the city to designate how we use our land use designations and zoning. And then there's elements that are required by the state to be a component of the general plan. So we have a land use element, zoning element, resources element, a public safety element, a mobility element, the one that is being updated right now. So various elements are associated with the general plan, and yeah, the mayor was noticing that there's no environmental element. The environment is definitely considered in many of those elements. Virtually all of them have some consideration of the environment. Oh, there's obviously our housing element, and the climate action plan it was mitigation as part of CEQA for our housing element. So that's how the climate action plan is associated with the general plan and the elements. But yeah, I've heard a similar thing from the mayor that he's noticed that there's no environmental element to the general plan.
Is there an interest to add that as a work item maybe this year? Or I guess we're not updating the work plan, but is that something we could or should get involved with?
You could add it to your work plan once the time comes to update your work plan. So yeah, that could be an option. If you want, continue conversations with the mayor to see what interests are. There could be council. There's been at times council direction for the Environmental Commission to work on certain things. So that could be an avenue. I will say that adding an element to the general plan is a lot of work.
I read the mobility one.
Especially something brand new.
Yeah.
So, budget-wise, just be aware of that. It's something that we would need to hire a consultant to do. It's a pretty hefty thing to do. So, and would need to accommodate what's already on staff's plate as it relates to other items. So yeah.
Maybe something simple, because I think he said there's maybe Carlsbad or some other city has environmental element.
Yes.
And if we get a hold of that, review it, see if there's anything of note, we could make some say, hey, there's stuff in here that could be useful. Maybe that's something we could do.
Yeah, always good to look at other good examples that are out there.
So I think that maybe kind of sticking point there was whether we are able to present something like that at a commission meeting if it's not on the work plan. And if it's at the direction of the mayor or city council member, is that a formal thing that needs to kind of be recorded before we start working on that and actually present something at a meeting? Like, what's the
Yeah,
process
I would
like?
say it either needs to be directed by council or needs to be in your work plan to work on it.
What
Yeah.
does the direction by council look like? Is that like a formal document or?
So, yeah, that would be something that a council member initiated item, like, just like you have future commissioner initiated items.
Yeah.
They've got a little more flexibility since they're the council to initiate any item they want as part of their meetings, to initiate, whether it's direction to do research or investigate something, or direct to work on a specific project. So, for example, I believe that's how the
Smoking.
B-City, the smoking ban came about, and the B-City certification came about. Because it wasn't actually on your work plan, but was kind of handed down to you from council.
Okay.
So yeah, it would have to be a full council action before the commission could start working on it.
Is it time sensitive?
No.
Is it something that the commission could just start working on offline of any official, or should it be brought up in number 11 to get on?
Well, it's not in your work plan, so I don't think you could bring it up in number 11 because it's not been approved by council to work on.
I thought we had an avenue to, amongst ourselves, do some document that gets it into a work plan, an agenda report, or,
So you would have to go to council to amend your work plan, is how that would get
Yep.
added. Yeah, if you wanted to do a mid-cycle amendment.
Okay. Think about that.
So it sounds like the best thing would be to go to the strategic planning thing in a week or two.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, little over a week to bring that up, to see, to just try to get some feel for.
Yeah. Something to bring up. Yeah, the mayor's meeting with all the commission chairs, and I'm meeting with him in a week or two. It could
Oh.
be something I could bring up as well.
Yeah, one thing of note is the climate action plan is part of the strategic plan objectives. So, that'll be something to, is then there's the objective is, something along the lines of, support and promote and preserve the environment, and aim to meet the climate action plan goals. So that's something that you could review and discuss with the mayor.
Sounds good. Thanks. Good discussion. Okay. Do we have any future commissioner-initiated agenda items? Was that what you were going to talk about today, Carol? Okay, so maybe next time. Okay. Okay. Anything else? All right. With that, we can adjourn. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.